individually, I work with myself and cope with myself perfectly. But now I will go to concrete social problems in Europe and in America too. Reproductive health and LGBT problems.
Yes.
No abortion, no contraception. LGBT people are not worth to live without, among us. So I work with these problematics all my life, all my conscious life. And we are the Catholic country. You were the Catholic family, so you understand what I say.
So to clarify, as I want to just make sure that I hear you, are you saying that being an LGBT person and in that community you faced a lot of hardship? Okay, thank you. So every single one of us is unique and different in our own way. And you are here to show the world, your family and your friends, that love does not get to look just one way. Love can be experienced in a variety of ways. And when you are your authentic self as you have been, and when it is different from what we've been taught, people love to have an opinion about it, don't they? When you don't fit into the box that you were supposed to be in. So, I think that you do this already. What I would advise you to do is to no longer try to convince people that you're okay and that you're whole. Spend time with people who do love and appreciate you and honor you for who you are. And each morning through meditation, connect with your heart, and when somebody is a jerk, you don't have to convince them of anything, because that is a waste of your energy. So just, and I know that it sounds mean, but you don't have to send them love or grace. You send that to yourself, and you say, it does not matter how this person treats me or what they think of me, because I mean, maybe you do care, but you're getting to a point where you don't care what they think.
Yes, but I should speak all the time about these problematics. The society should know about it, you know?
Yes, and that's awesome. So since you're choosing to do that, you get to choose to just accept that some people aren't there yet, and that every action you take, even if it feels differently, is contributing to a loving and accepting and unified world. Okay? So that's what you get to do, and you get to say, like, I'm not going to curse on this forum, but I will privately when we talk about it. Okay? Does anyone else have a problem or a question? Want to come up here?
Sure.
You can sit up here with us.
Just kind of goes along with this.
Can you tell us your name as well? And which country you're from? My name is Kim, and I'm from Canada, where I heard it snowed this week.
Oh, wow.
The whole point about love and more love is something which I've been trying to experience and to totally embrace. It's not easy for me to talk about it. And this year has been a transitional period for me to get there. There was really something that a friend told me, that you can't give what you can't give what you don't have. So I've been working on giving more love. And through that, in order for me to receive it and to understand it, I had to let go of people in my life who weren't aligned with that. And believe it or not, one of them was my mother. And of all people, right? That should be the one that should be there for you. And The nice thing about it was that they do go down south for winters, so we had a physical separation, two countries, a country apart. But I really had to break my ties in order to rebuild and to understand that I am worth it, and I don't need to. And you're not so, just to come back to your whole the LGBT, you don't need, if they're not aligned with who you are and what you want and what you believe in, it's okay to walk away.
High five.
Thank you so much. Wow. So with, I'll answer this in just a second. So with what was just shared here today, this is something that's actually, it's pretty controversial in a lot of the spiritual places, but it's something that I love to talk about, is that it's okay to release people and to break up with people. And it doesn't mean that you don't love them. It means that you're clued into your soul and your heart and you're honoring yourself. And yes, I get that that sounds selfish, but it's a form of self-love and it's a form of setting boundaries. And we train people how we want to be treated. And every choice has a consequence. So if there have been numerous conversations, several reconciliations, and if the person continues to do the opposite of what they said that they would do, or they continue to not treat us with love and respect, then out of love and respect, we get to remove ourselves from the relationship. And it's okay. It really benefits everyone involved, even though it hurts. So I have another question.
Oh.
So I was asked to maybe go through the quiz as an example for you all. Would you like me to do that, or does anybody else have a question?
Please.
I would actually like to speak to what you had said, because I had a similar situation with my family. And the way I was able to come to terms with it was my birth family gave me the foundation from which to grow and have my experiences of this world. Then, and it was very painful, because out of everyone, mommy and daddy should always be there. And then I had a realization that that was the most amazing gift, that my parents severed me and I'm not allowed to be in the family anymore, because I grew and changed so much, but there was that little girl in me that kept running back for approval. And consciously I knew I was never going to get it, but that part of me still wanted it. And they set me free by doing that, because they made me unable to run back to them for approval and made me just stand here on my own and approve of myself. And in that, it set me free. So I hope there's some value in that for you.
And that's awesome, and that's another example of how when things are chaotic and when people are not kind to us and when we feel like we're just in the middle of a storm, after we've gotten through the storm and we have some perspective, and maybe for bits of time in it, we think, wow, like there is so much love. This is a healing opportunity, and this is me allowing love to lead the way, and it's me saying it's okay to be uncomfortable. This is me setting a boundary, and this is me leading by example for letting love lead the way. So for every single one of the women in this room who has shared that, all of you have done that, so thank you.
Oh, we have two.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, but then
Please.
you. Okay. Can you come up here, please? Sure.
First, apologies, I missed a good part of the session, so I would perhaps ask the question, something that has
This was
been...
great, please.
Okay. My take on this thing, not take, but I would say confusion on this is that when I think of love that did not go all right in terms of relationships, I suffer from a lot of denial. So basically, I had once gone to Vipassana, which is a 10 days of, noble silence. So you don't speak, you don't look into anyone else's eyes, etc. So that actually that is obviously meant to be, sort of looking back into yourself and imagining. So obviously the first 2-3 days are quite turbulent. So I was talking to this teacher and, she told me that start naming your feelings. So if you're angry, so I was basically sitting there quiet and fighting the fights inside my mind. I was holding the debates, and even though I know that once I'm conscious, my mind has wandered, I should bring it back, but half my mind was like, no, I need to finish that argument, though that argument was with me. So when I went to the teacher and she told me that you should, name the feeling. Okay, you're angry towards this person, or he cheated you, or this is that. And then finally I said, if I want to find one name, that's denial. I'm in denial. I know that this, he told me this, which he was lying, but then I would like to believe that part of it and try to forget or delete or edit away this part of it. So, that is, one thing that I wanted you to maybe, tell me. And the second thing is also, one thing that I suffer is, I feel that love is like many more vulnerabilities. Love is a strength in itself. But where obviously, at one point in your life when you are into a family and everything else, and the emotional availability or unavailability of your immediate partner, it's not that they are going out with someone else, but just the fact that this is the person you are staying with, going to spend your life with conjugally, and your emotional availability or needs and the other person's, there is a huge incompatibility. Maybe they don't need so much of private relationship because it's basically what you need versus what you get, etc. So I feel that emotional compatibility or even emotional availability of the two partners, how do you deal with a gap in that sense?
Thank you. That was awesome. Okay, let's address the denial thing first. Who in here has done that, where we want something to be different than it is and we interpret it in whatever way we can so that it fits what we want? Okay, I'm going to raise my hand loud and proud.
I raised too.
Okay, so we've all done this, and what it is, I think, is we've heard of what abundance is, right? Abundance is allowing and having everything. It's a form of love. So the opposite of abundance is scarcity, right? It's lack. So how does this fit into what we're talking about? Well, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and there's a time when things are going really well. There's a lot of chemistry. There's passion. This person gets you. You get this person. And then over time, things aren't quite as awesome anymore. There are arguments, there are misunderstandings, there is emotional unavailability, there's all these things happen, but yet, even though the person continually shows us who they are over and over again, right? Because, and I think Maya Angelou said this, but when people show you who they are, believe them, right? When people show you who they are, believe them. And yes, it's nice to know that, but sometimes we decide not to know that.
There's a quote that I love that says, there's a quote that I love, and I forget who said it, but it's, what you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, what you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. So even though we're going through this and we know this, we're still holding on to what it was like a few years ago, a few months ago, maybe even last week. And that is scarcity. And what we do is I call our ego Junior. Junior tries to fool us into thinking that that it's okay, that this is like a one-time thing, and if you squint, it's what you want it to be. And don't focus on the negative, just focus on the positive. And if I pray about it enough, this person's going to change. That is the most difficult, most horrible, heartbreaking loop you can find yourself in, because we cannot, no matter how amazing we are, we cannot change other people. So when someone shows you who they are and you notice that you're going into denial, I want you to ask yourself, what part of me am I denying? And why am I settling for less? Where am I holding out on myself? So do some journaling about that. And take the Laws of Love quiz so that we can go more in depth. So make sure you take your quiz. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have this paper, but I don't know anything beyond that, so should I complete it?
Yes, complete it and multiple answers as many times, and then I will grade it and send it back to you and let you know more about how you can have more love.
One of the other things that I'm guilty of too is that when I get into that situation, you always talk about denial, and then somebody's doing something, and then I start to put the blame on myself and think, well, I'm supposed to be more enlightened than this, than letting this get to me.
Oh my God. Okay, this is amazing. Can I? Okay, we'll let you. That'll probably add on.
Why did you say that we cannot change other people by educating, by giving information? We widen their horizon, and this we change other people.
All right. You change you every time you get up there and you risk people not liking you.
I was a professor 30 years.
But the other person can choose whether or not they're going to listen to you.
That's right.
So we all have free will, but that does not mean that you choose not. Let me say it in a more simple way.
Education, I believe in education.
Education is amazing and it enlightens us to different perspectives, but you're going to have crappy students. And people aren't going to listen. And you cannot let those bad apples get in the way of what you're amazing at, and that's enlightening people and educating people.
Oh, so you think that only love changes people?
Education is love, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So here, so to what you said, she said she blames herself when something goes wrong. This is like a fun topic for me lately. In the spiritual communities that I've seen, and I don't know if it's universal or not, but I've noticed it a lot in the US, because that's where I live and that's most of my bubble. We have a lot of spiritual bullying and shaming, where if you're a human and you have a conflict with another person and you go to confide in your other spiritual friend, that person likes to say, well, how are you creating that? La 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 la. And it's good. It's good to go there, but you need to first honor where you're at, and it's not empowering just to blame yourself. You can be accountable and responsible for your role in the conversation, but as we've been talking about in larger contexts, you cannot control how someone responds to you.
And I have to set that boundary and not blame.
Say it again.
My lesson most of the time is that I have to set my boundary, and it's okay. Like when someone else's behavior is not okay and it crosses my boundary, it's loving, self-loving, and ultimately loving to them to teach me how I need to be treated, and not take the responsibility that, oh, I just need to learn to be okay because I'm more enlightened. It's okay and it's loving to say, no, that's not okay, and move. Just move on.
It is. And when you get mean people who, as I know that what you're teaching people makes a lot of sense, but there will be people who will disagree. You get to, and you know this because you're an educator, and the free thinking thing, you're going to have a lot of different juniors, a lot of different opinions, and all of that is amazing content for you to address every time you go to teach and educate. Are we done?
it's,
interview, I was just gonna. Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, please.
sorry, I just wanted to add to what you were saying, because I have that as well, where unwanted behavior out of the other person, I go, oh, well, I'm all this. But what I have discovered for me is I'm making excuses for them so I don't have to look at my patterns of allowing myself to be mistreated. And it's easier for me to go, well, this is how I should respond, and I should just bless them. They're on their journey, trying to do, but really I need to go, oh, look, here it's showing up again, an opportunity for me to, like you said, enforce boundaries. So that's what I'm working on now is I've gotten to the point where I catch myself doing that thing I do, and I'm ready for the next step of putting up the boundary.
Right.
Instead of letting the other person.
I'm loving this conversation. I want you all to know that I'm speaking on self-care at 11 o'clock in the same room.
Oh,
So
very
we
nice.
could, I would love to continue this conversation with you.
My husband's. Maybe I see
Any other questions? Do we want to do some more breath work?
I actually have one more question.
Sure, please.
What? Should I come?
Please. Be on stage. You need to be on stage.
Again, this is perhaps personal, but again, what I realize is personal is common. Like whatever we are all saying, we are all identifying with each other, so I'll just place it as personal. So basically, when, in one of my psychotherapy sessions, when I was talking to this lady who was counseling me, so I told her that, this is perhaps a pattern that, whenever I'm in some relationship, I'm always trying, so hard to give it my all. So it's like, I love that line from this Elizabeth Gilbert's Eat, Pray, Love, that when I'm in love, it's my, my bank account is yours, my dog is yours, my cat is yours, everything is yours. So I basically did that. I mean, 6 months into a relationship, I actually transferred lakhs of money to that person, and he took it away. So basically the thing is that, and what this psychotherapist, later told, not later, she told me as an assessment is that the self-esteem is the issue. Somehow I feel that to be able to deserve love, I need to first give a lot, and then only perhaps at sometimes, so I invest a lot, and then only I can expect, and that too, that's sort of a elusive fleeting point, that it never comes. And what happens is, in the other relationship where I have years of investment, so after say 8 or 10 years when that initial, rosy-eyed things goes away, then I turn back and see where, my balance sheet looks very lopsided. So I mean, a few words on that.
Okay, few words on that. Again, and we're gonna wrap it up. Just to quickly say that the whole thing, give what you want to get, there's some truth to it, but it's also a love myth or an illusion, because you get to, again, set boundaries on what you will give and what you won't give, and also know this, that it is an illusion to think that time is wasted or that money or energy is wasted, because there is always some wealth that comes out of the failure. So that's my very quick answer, and we're going to wrap it up.